So, what is the left's take from the events of last night, from the Virginia election? Well, here is a guy named Wajahat Ali. This is a former guy at Al Jazeera. He speaks sort of for the left. He goes, whiteness remains undefeated. And then a little further down, whiteness wins again. Now, he's not alone. This is a theme on the left. This is some sort of a triumph for whiteness. Now, let's think about this for a second. Number one, in Virginia, there was, and this is, by the way, something that is really being ignored or downplayed. MSNBC, it took them, almost the whole evening before they even mentioned this. And even when they did, they didn't mention the individual's name. We're talking here about a woman named Winsome Sears, a black woman, elected as lieutenant governor of Virginia. She ran along with Youngkin. And she's the first Republican, but she's also the first black woman elected as lieutenant governor statewide.
In case you haven't noticed, I am black and I have been black all my life.
So this is, you would think, be an important first, something to be noted, but no, it's an embarrassment. Why? Because it undercuts this kind of whiteness thesis. Here's something else that undercuts it. HD 75 is a majority black district in Virginia. District went for Biden just last year, and Youngkin flipped it. So Youngkin won a predominantly black district in Virginia. Again, not something that they are stressing at the New York Times or the Washington Post. Why? Because, again, it undercuts the left's narrative. And then, of course, if you look at critical race theory, you begin to see that this is being driven not by white guys. The two top people in critical race theory in Virginia, well, yesterday I was on the Ingram angle, and just before me was Asra Nomani. So this woman is brown-skinned. She's Asian Indian. She's Muslim. She calls herself a feminist. She voted for Biden. She is the face of the anti-CRT movement, which she described as just nonsense. Her sidekick is this Asian American guy who's fighting also for the same cause. So once again, how do you explain this? Here's Gad Saad, by the way, the political scientist whom I had on this podcast a few weeks ago. He goes, "Dear Joy Reid, dear Ibram Kendi, can you explain to me how the victory of Winsome Sears," this is the black lieutenant governor, "is a manifestation of white supremacy?" And then I replied sarcastically, I go, "Multiracial whiteness." And then I say, this is the left's new concept. So this is the left like breaking new intellectual ground. And then I explain what this concept means. I go, let me explain. And now quote, this is me and on Twitter. I go, the white supremacists in Virginia were evidently joined by the black white supremacists. And they were joined by the brown white supremacists. And they were joined by the Asian white supremacists. And all of these people came together to put Youngkin over the top. Ooh. So what we see here is that there's an effort on the part of the left just blindly to blame racism. First of all, this is not just about race. And CRT, by the way, is not just about race. A lot of parents are responding to the trans phenomenon. They're responding to indoctrination across the board. I mean, basically, a lot of moms and dads are saying, listen, I'd rather my kid learn something about, spelling and math than basically learning about, transgender hormone treatments. This is what the fight is really all about. And the left says, well, we're not really teaching CRT. Well, you're not really teaching the theory maybe of CRT. This would be like a little, kids' Bible study saying, we don't really teach systematic Christian theology. True, we don't do that. But what do? You have crayon books that tell stories about Jesus. So you do teach it, you just teach it in a manner that is aimed at kids. Similarly here, you're not teaching critical race theory, but you have your cartoon books and your little playbooks, and basically white is evil and black is great. And so what you're producing the same racial division at the ages of 3 and 5 and 7 and 10 And then when you're caught doing it, rather than defend it or explain why you're doing it, you go, well, we're not really doing this, because you realize these are based on 100-page articles that are merely discussed in the law school. So I think the rank dishonesty combined with the brazen aggression of these movements has produced a pushback, a massive pushback that goes beyond the activist right, is now penetrating. I think we're winning over independents, we're winning over the center. And I think what this means is that, yes, this multiracial coalition represents the future of the GOP that is going to come together now to crush the left.